was an end of an era for me. Makes me a little sad, makes me a little happy. I got rid of my motor scooter. I had this motor scooter for 10 years. And as my middle son said, "Dad, you look like a bear in the circus on that thing." It was a little Honda 150cc, automatic, red, and on the front it had "Proud to Teach" and "Spread Fred." Now, Spread Fred in Vermont was a very key thing. There was an older gentleman, farmer, who ran for senator, and he just spread this crazy, down-to-earth humor about being a Vermonter. So I felt really good about having a Spread Fred sticker on my motor scooter. How I got that motor scooter was a cousin had it in Nantucket and rode it once a year in the summer and said, "I gotta get rid of that thing." And I went, "That's my commuter special. I live 5 miles back up in the hills," and I said, "I'm gonna go get it." I went down to Massachusetts with a trailer behind my little Subaru, picked it up, came back, and had to learn how to ride a motor scooter. I never even rode a motorcycle, so a motor scooter should be simple. Well, of course, my oldest son got on it, and he wanted to show me how to do a wheelie first thing. "Pop a wheelie, Dad, pop a wheelie." No, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. He showed me. He did it, and he all over the driveway, he was popping wheelies. I couldn't do it. I rode it to school. I was a hero. "Rube, pop a wheelie," in the parking lot. Every kid said that. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do that. And I rode it down dirt, and I rode it up hill, and I got a helmet for my scooter. I got a Harley Davidson helmet. So I was on this little scooter with my Harley Davidson helmet. And I figured out different things on how to ride it, and I laid it down a couple of times and didn't get hurt. But it was a lot of fun. But then I had to go for my motorcycle license. And it was all the way up in this town, about 35 miles away. And I didn't want to ride my scooter up there even on the small road. So a friend of my son said, hey, we could put your scooter in the back of my truck. I failed my motorcycle test 3 times because I got this big crotch rocket. I could pass on that thing. I think I could pass on that thing. I said, "Matt, that's awesome. Let's do that." Threw it in the back of his old truck and went up to St. Johnsbury and proceeded to take my test. Looking around, there were all these big guys with their ZZ Top beards and tattoos and on their big Harleys, and they didn't have gloves on. Now, I always wore gloves because as a cyclist, the first thing that goes out is my hands. So I noticed these big, tough dudes without gloves. I said, "Hey, I'm not going to put gloves on." I don't want to be some sissy here. So I proceeded to take my test without gloves. And one of the things you had to do for your test is go a straight line, 15 miles an hour, and come to a screeching halt before a line. So, up there, and proceed to go there. My hand slips, hits the throttle, hitting the brake and the throttle, and I pop a wheelie. Whoa! And I go out of the zone. I go, whoa, I better do that again. The guy goes, the inspector goes, dangerous maneuver. Really? I failed? And I just scooting around to the rest of the guys, and the big ZZ Top guys go, "Bummer, dude." And I'm sure they were cracking up inside, but they were really nice. "Bummer, dude." Next guy who goes was Matt. He does his thing. He gets his license, and I'm waiting there just dejected and the saddest Eeyore face I could ever put on. to the guy, "Can I take the test again?" And he says, "Yeah, after everybody leaves, you could do this again." So I do it again, don't put my gloves on, don't pop the wheelie, pass my test, throw that motor scooter in Matt's truck, and we did not stop laughing until we got back to Bradford, even though you couldn't hear yourself over his engine. It was hysterical. And to this day, I never could pop a wheelie again. Only on the driver's test. So I drove that thing around to school, and I was a hero. I said, "Rue, I gotta get one. That's the greatest thing in the world. Saves gas, 80 miles to the gallon." But the problem was, I had to put it in my basement to get it warmed up. So I backed it up into my basement door, and then in the morning, I screwed it out and started up. It would never start under 55 degrees. So it was, it was temperamental. And down in school sometimes, when the temperature dropped, I'd have to put it in the boiler room, in the custodian's boiler room. Here in Park City, I could never get that thing started. And I think it was altitude, temperature,